Hello guys, it's me, Red the Dinosaur. Even when I said that I didn't want to record anything for this weekend, but yeah, I think that's something that I kinda regret now. But well, it is what it is. So today I wanted to talk about, yes, the Audi TTRS 2020, quite of a letdown, and to be fair, something that I didn't want to review because, well, it's kind of the same car. But let's start it. Why not? And meanwhile, I will say my thoughts and opinions about this thing and the whole game. Well, first we got the Audi TTRS 2020. Not too much of a difference with the 2016. I guess it's nice for the people that didn't got the chance to get the car pass and get the 2016 version, and now they are able to win it on this playlist, and it's the recent version. But to be honest, it's not the best thing. Yes, it's the newer version of the TTRS, but at the same time, it's quite inferior to its 2016 variant, because well, first, it doesn't have all the visual upgrades that the 2016 version has. So that's a first. I think the 2016 variant has all the performance pack parts, and you can make a really cool TTRS out of it. On this, you don't have too much. It's pretty much the same Forza Aero package that is pretty awful to look at. That's what you got in the 2020 variant. I don't know why they didn't basically put the same parts of the 2016 to the 2020. I don't know. I think it will be much better. Even will be less offsetting to actually put these parts, but it is what it is. When it comes to performance, it's kind of the same. I actually tried to put a lot in terms of comparisons between the 2016 variant and the 2020, but I didn't find too much of a difference, to be honest. So if you have the car pass, you just better skip that car unless you are a collector and you want the two TTRSs. But in my opinion, you get the 2016 variant that is way more complete. You have more parts to make it a more appealing car, because you have the performance plus upgrades to apply it visually. And at the same time, even when it has less than 5 horsepower compared to the 2020 variant, it doesn't make too much of a difference. The sound is kind of the same, everything is kind of the same, but not too much in terms of everything else. I think again, you don't miss too much if you miss this car. But at the end of the day, that's all I have to say about this car. I know it's not the best of reviews, I can say, but what more I can ask for a car that is basically a copy pasta. Like, a lot of people on Forza were making fun of Gran Turismo and Gran Turismo games back then for basically having 20, 30 variants of the Miata, which is true. Back then, that was like the rule of Gran Turismo. And now, well, we have basically a huge lineup of Mustangs on Forza Horizon. We have basically two variants of the same car, yes, the 2016 and the 2020, that are pretty much the same. At least with the Mustangs, you have different models that you can pick from. Again, you can pick to the oldest first generation to basically the new generation that is going to come soon on the scripted event. That's another topic for another day. But for this, it's basically the same car. Like, it's pretty much the same car. I don't know why they just decided to put this car. Like, not even, like, I will say, okay, fine, put it on a car pack. And even that, I will be upset about it. But on this, like, it's a bit of an insult to a lot of the player base. I think a lot of the suggestions that the community wants, like, for example, I don't know, the newer 911 GT3 RS, the Maserati MC20, and many other vehicles that are like up there in the terms of wish list of cars. I think they are way more appealing than a newer TTRS that we already got. And it doesn't make too much of a difference. I like it would be much better if it was like if it had a bit better stats than the older version. Like that would be a bit of a difference, and say, well, at least this is a better car, and and the upgrade makes it worth because, well, the performance figures are different. But on this, nah, fam, that's not the thing. It's the same car, and well, as much as I give a hard time to Gran Turismo to actually do the same with the race variants of the GTR, that are basically there is two cars that are the same. And this is basically the same common rule. Why bother to put these two vehicles? Or why bother to just put the TTRS 2020 variant? That's like the important question here. But yeah, that's all I have to say. This car basically represents many flaws that basically Forza Horizon 5 has, and that if I stay there, I will name a lot of them. Is the map. Basically this focus on being this nice guy of the racing video game scene that wants to appeal to everyone and not hurt any feelings on the process, not have an actual soul, like something to just be looking forward in the future, to just say, like for example the Crew 1 that had at least a short story, but it still was something that puts it apart to the other racing games. On this is basically the same festival race car game that doesn't make any difference to, I don't know, Forza Horizon 4 or even other games like the Crew Motorfest, that obviously people will compare it because it's pretty much the same festival racing car game than Forza Horizon. Like, this type of game needs to disappear, or at least be reduced to just one game. Like, it has to disappear, man. Like, I'm quite tired of this festival music racing games that we are getting. Like, it doesn't need to be like the common rule. Like, you can be different, you can not be extremely offensive with a racing game. I think back then we got really, really good examples of being setting apart, but at the same time being a good competitor to an icon. What I am saying is, like, you can be like, just for example, Midnight Club 3 and Need for Speed Underground. Like, they were kinda like this, give you the same vibes, give you the same basically give you the same genre, but at the same time there were a lot of things that set them apart. And, well, more than Rockstar making one game and EA making another, but there was a lot of things that changed in those two games. And I think, like, all this is basically disappearing. All the games that we are getting is basically the same. Is the same copy and paste formula that is getting tiresome. And I just hope that Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown actually is different, makes you a different vibe, and that is not all the same, a festival racing game. I'm tired of that genre, and it's very important for me that if it's gonna be a Forza Horizon 6 or a reboot, I think the reboot is necessary. I think something that sets this game apart from older games, and at the same time the competition is important. So that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to just bring out of my system. I think it's just really, really boring to get the same game made by different developers all the time. Yes, one made by Ubisoft, other made by Microsoft, pretty much. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I know that this goes more further than a TTRS review, but it's because, well, this represents a problem that I wanted to talk about. I know, I'm just a small YouTuber. I'm not Black Panther or whatever that just says the same shit and applauds all the developers because they invite him to shows and all that. Well, I'm not like that, but at least I have principles. But yeah, guys, thank you very much, and see you on the next one. Goodbye.